With us now is Deirdre O'Connell, and we are going to be talking about debunking some real estate myths. Welcome once again. How are you?
Thank you, Donna. I love being here with you.
I was laughing because some of these things that are on this card, I'm like, I know for a fact. So the first question is it true weekends bring out the most serious buyers?
Well, everyone thinks that.
Right?
They think that, I need to have that open house on Saturday and Sunday and get all those serious buyers in. And yes, the weekends are very busy, but sometimes the most serious buyers, most of the time the most serious buyers, come with a real estate agent during the week or outside of the hours of an open house in particular.
Okay.
Because they want to have that special time in the house. They want to hone in on the house. They probably experienced the house already online and now want to be in the house alone, looking through everything, and they don't want to compete with all of the activity of the weekends.
Now, I have a funny question. So at what point, when you're looking at a house, is it okay to open up a cabinet or to flush a toilet? Does that happen after you make an offer, or do you do that when you're going through an open house?
No. You should do that if you're really serious in particular.
Right.
Not if you're just tire kicking or just getting your feet wet in it.
Right.
But if you really want to buy the house, you should open all the cabinets. You should open all the doors. You should experience everything in the house.
Okay.
So that you're making the best informed decision you can.
Excellent. Yeah, because if you open up a door to a closet and you think it's just a little closet, and then all of a sudden you realize it's a master walk-in closet, it does make a difference.
Exactly.
People love closets.
Storage.
Okay.
People want storage. They want places to put their belongings and have everything else neat and clean. Yes.
Love that. Okay, the second one, let's see. We've all heard about Zillow. Are estimates accurate?
Well, that's interesting because most people say, well, the Zestimate said.
Okay.
And the reality is that it's done with an algorithm based on statistics and on past closings, usually within a zip code.
Okay.
But as we know, all zip codes have different communities within them. Many of them have incorporated villages or multiple school districts. And all of these things lend themselves to what the actual value of the property is. And it's almost impossible to get an accurate valuation of a property just based on past sales, not put in context of the community.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense, because you're right. Because then and it even has like lot lines. Because I've gone to Zillow many times, but you're absolutely right. What makes one property 1.5 million and the other one $235,000? I mean, it's a big variance.
They look at square footage, bedrooms, bathrooms. Actually, interesting tidbit, the CEO of Zillow sold his house, I believe, in 2016 for 40% less of its estimate.
Really?
So there you go.
There you go. I like that. Okay, debunking these myths. Okay, the next one. Is it better to price a home on the high side because the seller can always come down?
Yeah, if people think that, they're like, oh, I want to have wiggle room, make sure I have enough room to negotiate. And the reality is, if a house is priced in what I call at the aspirational end of the market, it's really not on the market. You can be on the market, but you have to be in the market.
Okay.
And if you're in the market, you're priced to sell.
Okay.
And as we all know, the buyers are online. They know a lot. And if they really feel that you're shopping price and to get as much as you can out of the house, more than what the house is worth, they're just going to ignore the house until it hits that number that brings them all in.
And it's also, I would think about trust. If you can't trust the seller of that house, right, to price that property correctly, what else are they like skirting under that they're not telling you about?
True.
That like water damage in your basement, and then sometimes you don't even find that out until they're doing all the title search and all the other things that have to happen.
And it's really interesting right now because we have so much demand, especially here on Long Island post-COVID, with people wanting to maybe leave the city and move to the suburbs, that the sellers are beginning to think they can really push the price. And we're beginning to hear this line, which we hear in every cycle, which is, well, if I can get X, I will list my house. And X is usually a percentage over what the house will sell for.
Okay.
And that doesn't work. It doesn't work.
Doesn't
you
work.
actually get less at the end.
I like this. Okay. Should you start by making a low offer on a home?
Yeah, so
that's kind of insulting sometimes, don't you think?
Well, that's the reality of it.
Okay.
I think buyers think, well, let's see what he says or she says if I put in this amount of money. And particularly now, again, because people are a little nervous about the whole world, and they want to make sure that whoever they go into contract with is going to close on the house. And many times, it's not the last dollar that makes the deal, it's the passion.
Okay.
Because they know that you love their house, that you came in passionately about their house. You can afford their house, absolutely, but the other person might have paid $1 more but started so far off the mark that they don't trust them not to renegotiate somewhere else down the line.
It's too much work too, mentally. You know, it's like it's an emotional thing. Sometimes for many times, it's the biggest decision a person has ever made. Either
Biggest
buy a home or sell it,
decision. Yes,
right?
yes.
And finally, do multiple offers give the seller an advantage?
Well, the easy answer to that is yes, and that's what everybody believes. But it only gives them an advantage if it's properly negotiated. And that's why it's really important probably to have a real estate agent help you with the negotiating. Because if you're really pinning two people against each other, eventually they feel played and they both walk away and you end up with nothing.
Yeah, and it's supposed to be a happy experience for both parties, right? There's supposed to be joy in this.
Right, and more than anything, usually a bidding war will help the seller get better terms. Even if they get, yes, they'll get a little bit more money, but they can pick the buyer that has terms that satisfy their needs. Like maybe they can coordinate their closings better. Maybe they can get rid of the mortgage contingency so they don't have to worry about finance timing and things like that. So.
And points, because points are still negotiable, right?
Yes, yes.
See, I remember that. I was like, is that still accurate? I better ask Deirdre, because you know the answer. These are all great ideas, and it's fun to hear it from you, because this is what you do day in and day out, and you see so many things.
Yeah, I love what I do, so I love talking about it.
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you're here, because this is the biggest time right now. And you're right, I think it was close to, I don't want to give out statistics, but I did hear like around 400 to 500,000 people, like people are just moving, you know, and you were saying inventory right now, so you're looking for people that are interested in buying their home, selling their homes or buying their homes, but the price needs to just work out for everybody. Makes it so much simpler.
Tremendous demand right now. I was just chatting with a real estate agent who came into the office, and she said she did an open house yesterday, and she had people lined around the house and had to limit showings initially to 5 minutes each, because you can only have so many people in the house.
Right.
And she still wasn't getting people through quickly enough in the time period that she had for the open house, so she had to limit it to 3.5 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
It's just crazy. So we have great demand. great demand for housing.
It's an exciting time. Thank you very, very much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And as always, don't you just love these real estate segments? I know I do. I always learn something new. Stay tuned for more. We've been living it up, but we've been here with Deirdre. Take care.